Hi, it's Jennifer Evans with Empowering Mamas Counseling Solutions, coming at you today with Transactional Analysis. Ooh. So what is that? So we've been talking about accountability and vulnerability and disclosures this week. And transactional analysis is a part of how we interact with each other. And when we're not in a grounded, trusting state, that we often go into these ego states that will pull us in directions of either the parent ego state or the child ego state. So we're trying to be in an adult ego state. Ideally, we want to be in a grounded adult ego state. But oftentimes when we have, especially interactions with trauma from other places, like our family, sometimes we have supervisors and bosses that remind us of other traumatic or high stress, because there's lowercase and uppercase T trauma. So high stress times of others who have similar kind of personality features. What we find is that we either occupy the parent or the child ego state. And so we are in a reactionary space. We are not action oriented. We're not grounded. We're not logical. We're having these interactions and we're invoicing whomever we're talking to. So in couples therapy, I'll often say invoicing, right? When you say always and never, or you say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. That right there says you are not in a present state, and this is not a present conversation. You are invoicing your partner from something that either should have been said or wasn't said in the past between the two of you, or you're having an argument with somebody else, whether it's a previous partner, a parent, a guardian, somebody else, a boss that in your life, where you didn't finish that conversation and you're invoicing the person and they're paying for that conversation now. So your reactionary approach is not with the here and now and the conversation right now. It's with something in the past. And so transactional analysis kind of explains that, where you're taking on either a parent or a child state. And the parent state can be nurturing and can be loving and very supporting, but it can also be very harsh and abrasive and controlling. And the child can be very fun-loving and resilient, but it can also be very defiant and resistant. And so, there can be positives with transactional analysis when you're in these reactionary states, but oftentimes there's a lot of negatives that come, and never do we ever. There's a dichotomous statement, which means it's an anxious statement, but oftentimes what we realize is it's very rare that you would be in a place that is reactionary, where you're in the parent or the child ego state, and be in an action-oriented place. There's typically a correlation to when you're not grounded, when you're not present, then there's a higher likelihood that you're going to be in a reactionary place and not able to act the way that you want to, but rather in a more reactionary way. And so that is what transactional analysis is really looking at, when I'm having these conversations, am I in a grounded, adult, rational, action-oriented state? Do I see the logic? Do I see the shades of gray? Can I look at this conversation from 360 degrees and find all the different perspectives? Or am I saying always and never in these dichotomies? Am I invoicing? Am I being defensive? Am I occupying a parent state where I'm either very nurturing and agreeable, or very nurturing and loving, or I'm very stern and authoritative and controlling? Or am I in a child state where I'm either playful and trying to find some resiliency amongst this? Or am I in a more rebellious phase? And the thing is just like the Cartman triangle, and just like go to my previous video with the negative dynamic, what you find is that you're not always the one occupying it. Sometimes you're implicitly occupying it. So going back to the previous, you can hear more about the Venn diagram and how relationships work and us owning our half. What happens is in transactional analysis is somebody else may be in the parent state and being controlling and being authoritative, and you may be reverting to the child rebellious state or being in a resilient, playful place where you're avoiding and distracting so you don't have to be interacting with that parent who's being very controlling. So sometimes, and other people are very distracted and rebellious and playful, and so then they're forcing you into, and you see this a lot in couples where somebody will kind of regress into a childlike state, and now you're feeling as if like you have to be mommy or you have to be daddy, and you're like, I don't want to be mommy or daddy. This is weird, man. This Freud stuff, I can't handle all this psychoanalytic stuff. And that is, because there's something going on. But the beauty of it is, and go back to the dynamics, you'll see that when you own your half, no matter what is happening with somebody else, when you are responsible for your half of the dynamic, your circle, everything else is connected. So just remember that as long as you take care of your yard, your half of the street, everything else will eventually, it's just consistency. It's consistent boundary setting. It's consistency, and it starts with your circle. So transactional analysis talks about whether we are implicitly asked or we are regressing in our own out of an adult ego state, going to a parent state, or going to a child state. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or experiences with this, I would love to hear about it. That is what I do at Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, is I am here to provide a gamut of services, especially for you. So whether it's these free videos, whether it is my accountability subscription service that gives you monthly accountability, it gives you a group to come in and be able to find like-minded people who are trying to find success and wellness, whether it is my success group that I'm starting on August 26th, and we are going to go through the Life Worth Living and the workbooks and the self-help books that I have. We actually have workbooks that we're going to go through and be able to determine and build a framework for a happier, healthier life, or my individual coaching and e-counseling to my boutique retreats where we do 3 days in a luxury resort area to focus just on you and building a strong foundation and framework for your growth and your success. I am here to support you wherever you are at. So like me, follow me, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you so much.